So hello everyone. So in this video I'll go over my trades that happened today. As you can see they're all blue. I promise I will show my trades, my losing trades also, but today you're just gonna have to stick with seeing only blues. I really try to, to be careful my risk management as well. Some interesting perhaps lessons or points that I can show you that you can hopefully learn from. I have decided to come back with the English version videos just to make it universal for everyone to understand. I think it's only fair. Also, I know that I haven't been really active on this at all, but I will start becoming way more active. I will start sharing my trades. You can also see my trade ideas that I share on Telegram or Instagram, Discord as well, if you want to join. But anyways, so we're gonna start off. So you see my first trade was US30 sell, which was anticipated well in advance. Even in my review video, in my Telegram video, I said that I'm anticipating initial sell. Actually, those videos are in Lithuanian as well, so I'm gonna start doing those videos in English as well. So we'll just roll on from now on with full English, I think, just to get the broader audience and to actually make it fair for everyone, as I said. So then we have another buy. So these two were the main two trades that I really want to look at today. And then the other ones here, they're just, they're PM session trades. And in the PM session, it's kind of difficult to really trust the price as much as it is in the AM session. So it's really not worth your time to be having like very big expectations on, what could actually happen out there in the market in the PM session. Well, overall, so before we start reviewing the trades, I really want to say one thing, that no strategy will work without risk management and proper risk associated on an instrument per day, per account, whatever. So if you don't have risk management, it doesn't matter how good your strategy is. It doesn't matter how good you are at trading. You could be the best human on this planet at trading. If you don't have risk management, long term, you will not survive. And another thing I want to say is that I'm not a financial advisor. These are just my own trades that I make on my accounts that I have, okay? I don't have just one account. I have many accounts. I'm not going to disclose any information about my accounts. If you want, you can DM me. I will give you answers as to, what I'm doing, what I'm trading, what prop firm I'm using, things of that sort. But other than that, so then just let's begin. All right, so before we begin, you may be wondering what was the plan, what we're looking at and things of that sort. So obviously the day I'm looking at is Tuesday, which is the 10th of March. So whenever I'm trading that day, so today's Tuesday, so I always look at the previous days, 6 o'clock PM session, New York time, okay? So just keep in mind that everything we do here is in New York time. Keep in mind that everything we're doing here is in New York time. Here's the 6 o'clock PM session, New York time. It still says it's Monday, but this is actually the open of the Tuesday's daily candle. So if you have a look at the Tuesday's daily candle, we just had a bit of a consolidation followed by somewhat of an expansion, which then led us to actually going and sweeping the sell side. So this is very, important to understand and straight away look at and, analyze. I was coming into the market, I was looking at these two fair value gaps right here to the upside, which are bullish, right? So that means I should be long, right? Well, not necessarily, because we also had a bearish fair value gap right there. You see, SIBI. This SIBI is actually where I took my short from to sell side liquidity of the Asia. You see how now we're starting to look at the time, then the gaps, and then the time again. Because time is just simply, those trading sessions, which is Asia, London, and then New York. So as you can see, 6 o'clock is right there, and the we start printing candles, which means all of these candles past this 6 o'clock is Tuesday daily candles, right? And all of these candles represent one daily candle. So now that we know about these two gaps, usually I would just go on long, usually here. That's kind of my strategy. If I had to describe my strategy in one sentence, I would say, yeah, it's just the OTE setup, and I'm just looking for a long there. However, it's not that simple, and sometimes I will try and sell the market, not just, blindly long it. So exactly like, how it happened here. So if you have a look at this, we have 6, 7, and 8 a.m., which is New York time. And then we got to 9 a.m., you see? And actually that 9 a.m. was what gave me, that initial sell, which was something like this, but the trade itself actually wasn't like this at all, and I will explain. So here is the 1 minute chart. We're looking at the exact same hourly, fair value gap. CB, just on a 1 minute chart. So my first sell came in at 9:33, which was right here, this 1 minute candle. So I started selling here. As long as I knew that as long as my entry is in this hourly gap, I'm fairly good with my entry. And then my stop loss at this high should be safe enough as we rebalanced this hourly gap and rejected it there. I did not want to see price anymore to go above this high, so this was a logical stop loss placement. Entry here, stop loss at the high, and just simply, going from my 1 to 2, going from my sometimes 1 to 3. In this case today, I only got 1 to 2, because my entry was on this 1 minute candle, but the entry was actually way lower. I think the entry was somewhere here, which makes the trade instantly like way worse. So this is, and keep in mind, we're looking at a 1 minute chart. So guys, make sure, this is why so many people fail in trading, because, these ranges, they're massive. Look, 1 minute candle is 100 points. There aren't many people that can currently trade this, and I'm sure of it. For reasons of that, where price is just so stretched, and they're using, like 10 pip stop loss, you're not gonna get away with it. You can't just trade like a fixed stop loss. You have to trade PD arrays for value gaps or support and resistance levels. Even that will work better than just a fixed stop loss, in my opinion. Then we got the move down all the way to Asia. Now keep in mind, I had a bullish bias. I just traded against my bias here today, but my bias was bullish. And in Discord, we were looking for buys. But I said initially, we can take sells to then look for buys. Why buys? Well, because look at this order flow right here. You see this hourly gap? This is a big ass gap. You shouldn't just ignore these gaps because they actually show you who's in control. As hard as that may be to believe, but that's the case. And then look at this. We also had this daily fair value gap right there, which was unmitigated. So that could have been our drawn liquidity, which I targeted from here. But I failed to get my entry over here. And my entry was actually only, yeah, so my entry was right here. I'll explain in a second. So I was looking, so I saw that we swept Asia. And when we swept Asia, I was looking at these 1 minute gaps, and I knew I wanted to be long, so I placed my limit order here. But my entry was never activated because the market just kept going. So then I kept looking at the price action, and guys, I'm telling you, this is the real order flow. And these other guys that are teaching, all those crazy, new fancy level 2 and all that shit, I don't believe that's the order flow. I believe the order flow is just right there in front of your eyes. You just have to learn how to read it. So as I'm reading this, I'm just reading, 1 minute gap here printed, and it's unfilled. Price just keeps running. Then we have, I'm looking at this and I'm anticipating a 1 minute gap being formed here. And as I'm anticipating this gap to be formed, I just simply place a buy and I just place my stop loss at the low, anticipating that there's going to be a fair value gap right here formed and that the price will come in and respect this fair value gap and continue running higher. And I simply took a 1 to 2. That's all I took. Just a 1 to 2. Just a 1 to 2 trade. That's all I took. But this is This was to me high probability. This was in distribution phase. And, 1 to 2 is good risk reward if your win rate is on point. So yeah, that's pretty much about it. I hope you actually got to learn something. I don't want to keep this too long. This is just simply, a trade recap. I also know I haven't done any videos, in a long time, but I do want to come back. I definitely want to come back with the videos. I definitely want to show you guys that I know what I'm talking about. I know it's gonna take time to build that trust and to build a real community here, but I know that there's a lot of information out there that's just it's just so false and it's just not real and it's fake, and I can't stand it, honestly. I just feel like I would be doing disservice to you people that are actually trying to learn by not creating videos and not actually trying to put these things out there for everyone to learn. So yeah, those that are serious in trading, you are my, people that I'm looking for. I'm not looking for clowns. I'm looking for real traders. And that's what I want to build here. This is my goal and this is my vision. And that's what we're going to go for.